Hi, I'm David Woods and I'm the CEO of Magellan Executive Partners. The purpose of this is to give you an overview of our program called Corner Office. It's a peer-to-peer group mainly designed for CEOs, presidents, senior executives of organizations and companies. A little backdrop, I've actually been CEO of 4 different companies. And one of the things I learned earlier in my career was that I was not very good at asking for input from others. And it wasn't until later in my career I understood the real value of getting input and insights from others around me. The problem is, by the time I had become CEO and a senior executive, there weren't many safe havens in order to share some of the ideas that I had, or maybe even some of the weaknesses I had that I needed some help on. That's where a peer group comes in. And so we started Corner Office to help executives have a safe haven in order to do that. Now, there's lots of different peer-to-peer groups available. Your job, I would suggest, is to find one that fits you well. As far as what we do, what makes it a little bit unique is, first of all, it's facilitated by myself or Brent Douglas, who's president of Magellan Executive Partners. Both of us have been CEOs, presidents, senior executives of major corporations, as well as smaller companies. So we understand what it means to make payroll. We understand the stresses that you're in. We sort of get it. So the other aspect about Corner Office, we do provide unique content. So we've had over 10 years of developing and learning unique content that we share with each group that would come in. We only share a little bit, and the whole point of that is to tee up a very robust discussion at each one of the peer-to-peer sessions that you have. The Corner Office is very experience-based, and what I mean by that is if you're in a corner office and you're having a particular topic that you need some input on, the others in the room cannot give you advice. What they can do is say, you know what, I was in a similar situation as what you're in, and here's what I did. That allows you, instead of taking advice, to actually just think of it as cut and pasting all of the feedback from the fellow members of your Corner Office group to fit your situation perfectly. The other aspect of this is the friendships you'll create. Now that sounds like a frivolous benefit, but the reality is science actually shows that by having friends in stressful situations can dramatically reduce your stress. There's also a correlation between stress and one's IQ. Meaning the more stress that somebody's under, their IQ has actually been proven to drop. The other aspect of Corner Office is it gives you some new, fresh ways to look at your business. Think of it as looking at your business through a new lens. And you'll get refreshing new ideas, you'll be reminded of things you knew long ago, and you're like, oh yes, I should probably be doing that, I forgot about that. So lots of robust discussion in each one. Each Corner Office is highly confidential. To join one, you have to sign a confidentiality agreement, and at each meeting, everybody is reminded of the confidentiality. So everybody needs to feel comfortable sharing their deepest insights, fears, whatever those might be, so that others can lean in and help them through different situations. It's a small aspect, but it's an important one. We have a beautiful facility. So I'm actually setting in the facility here that we utilize for Corner Office. We have snacks each time people eat. It's a very, very warm and comfortable environment, and we get lots of compliments because when people come in, they just feel fresh and ready to go. Now, as far as the investment, we looked at a lot of them, and again, I'm going to go back to you need to pick the one that's best for you. I've described to you what Corner Office is, but there's others out there. In our research, a lot of them are in the kind of $500 to $1,200 range per month. We set Corner Office at $450 per month initially. Once we started really understanding how CEOs and senior executives work, we realized the chances of you making all 12 sessions in a year is pretty slim. So what we did is we took as though you would attend 10. So 10 times $450, came up with that number. Then we divided it by 12, and that comes up to $375 per month. So that's the cost of Corner Office, $375. That way, if you miss 1 or 2, you're not feeling guilty, because if you make them all, you got them as a bonus.
Hi, I'm Brent Douglas, one of the other facilitators of Magellan's Corner Office groups. And I know David walked you through some of the details of Corner Office, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time just walking you through what a typical session might look like. So most of our Corner Office groups kick off around 8 in the morning, their morning sessions, and about 8 o'clock people will start arriving. We limit each group to a maximum of 12 people, and we allow just about 30 minutes of networking time at the start of each session, just for people to connect socially, understand what's going on in their lives and their businesses, those kinds of things. At 8:30, we kind of kick off the session, and we'll start with some general housekeeping stuff, and then pretty quickly we'll move in to introduce the topic of the day. Now, all of the topics that we discuss in our Corner Office groups are basically topics that the group has identified as something they want to either learn more about, wanting to get different perspectives on. But the key thing is all of those topics are identified and driven by what the group wants to discuss. And so we'll kick off those topics, and for about 30 minutes, we'll kind of spend some time focusing on how each person, how their individual companies, organizations approach a particular topic. And those topics can range everything from how to motivate employees, how to deal with banking relationships, how to read financials. Again, whatever the group decides is something that they really want to discuss. And so the first part is just understanding how individual person or each individual organization handles those discussions. And then we launch into a more detailed discussion around specifically what lessons do people have? We're looking for things that are proven that work, but oftentimes in business, we find that understanding what paths you don't want to go down, what are the mistakes that people have made, what are the things that didn't pan out, that's just as valuable oftentimes as learning what doesn't work. We'll have a deep, detailed discussion about that, and then toward the end of the session, we'll typically close by identifying what are some particular actions that each individual is planning on taking in the course of the next month that they can report back on then in the housekeeping session at the beginning of that. So with that, we establish great accountability within the group, and we're driving toward action and movement as opposed to just having a discussion. So everyone at the end of that will have a set of actions that they come up with, things that they need to, or they are asking the group to help hold them accountable for any change that they need to make. So in that way, the group acts as a source of wisdom, advice on successes and failures, as well as a point of accountability. We haven't done a session yet that the group hasn't ended just loving everything that I talked about and weren't energized and excited over what the topic was or wisdom that they learned from that topic. And it's just a great way to get advice and knowledge and wisdom from your peers. So we sure hope you'll come and join us. Again, Brent Douglas, Magellan Executive Partners. Come join a Corner Office group.
If you'd like to know a little bit more, actually see if you are a good fit for a particular group, you can call us at 405-513-5300, or you can email us at info@magellanexecs.com. We'd love to have you in a group. We'll kind of match groups together, so we've got the best kind of group, no competing organizations in the same group. So it goes back to a really good safe haven to give you some new insights for your business. We hope you'll join us. Thank you.